The storm had barely passed when Ethan Cole's luxury car rolled to a stop beside the old industrial dump site on the outskirts of the city. His tires crunched over broken glass and mud, headlights slicing through the misty dawn. He wasn't supposed to be there, not a man like him, not in a place like this. But something had made him stop. Then he saw her. A small figure curled beside a pile of cardboard boxes, clutching a shivering little boy. Their faces were smeared with dirt, their clothes soaked through, but when the light fell on them, Ethan's chest tightened. He knew that face. It was Maria, his former maid. The woman who used to greet him every morning with a gentle smile, who used to hum lullabies while cleaning his mansion's hallways. Now she was lying in filth, trembling with her son in her arms. And when she opened her eyes and whispered his name, Ethan's world stopped. Just 6 months earlier, Ethan Cole had been one of the most successful men in the city, the kind of billionaire everyone envied. He built his empire from scratch after losing his parents in a car crash at 22. Work had become his escape, money his comfort. But beneath his perfectly tailored suits and calm demeanor, there was a loneliness he never admitted to anyone. Maria had worked for him for nearly 3 years. She was quiet, respectful, and always grateful. She never asked for anything more than her small salary and one day off a week to care for her young son, Leo. Ethan had never paid her much attention, not because she was unimportant, but because he never noticed anyone beyond his spreadsheets and board meetings. Then one day, Maria didn't show up for work. His manager informed him she had left abruptly. She said she needed to take care of personal matters, they told him. Ethan didn't ask further. Life went on: meetings, investments, business dinners, until the night he stopped at that dump site to avoid a traffic jam and saw a shadow moving among the garbage. When he stepped out and found Maria there, holding her son close to her chest, something inside him cracked. "Maria," he whispered. Her eyes fluttered open, full of fear and disbelief. "Sir?" "Mr. Cole," she said weakly, trying to cover her son with her torn shawl. "Please, don't come close. We'll leave soon." He crouched beside her, ignoring the stench around them. "What happened to you? Why are you here?" Tears spilled down her cheeks, and she broke into sobs. "They threw us out, sir," she said. "I tried to find work after my accident. No one would hire me. I didn't want to bother you again. I just wanted to survive for my son." Ethan's heart pounded. "You should have called me. You worked for me for years, Maria. Why didn't you?" "Because people like me don't call men like you," she whispered. "We don't belong in your world." For the first time in his life, Ethan felt the weight of his privilege, the invisible wall between himself and those who served him. Without a word, he took off his coat and wrapped it around her and Leo. Then he lifted them both into his car. As he drove toward the hospital, he glanced at Maria's pale face and the small, fragile boy in her arms. The question swirled in his mind: how could someone so loyal, so kind, end up in a place like that? And what had he missed while living in his glass tower? Maria spent a week in the hospital. Leo was severely malnourished, but the doctors said he'd recover with care and proper food. Ethan visited every day, something his assistants found shocking. They had never seen their boss so quiet, so human. One morning, Maria told him everything. After leaving his mansion, she had been promised a better-paying job as a caretaker in another estate. But the man who hired her never paid her properly. When she tried to leave, he accused her of theft and blacklisted her name. With no references, no money, and a sick child, she was forced onto the streets. "I wanted to die some nights," she admitted softly, "but then Leo would touch my face and say, 'Don't cry, Mama. God will send someone.'" Ethan turned away, blinking fast. For years, he had donated millions to charities, yet he had never realized that someone he once trusted, someone under his roof, could suffer like this. He arranged a new apartment for Maria and enrolled Leo in a private school. But that wasn't enough. He began visiting shelters, learning about the lives of those who cleaned his streets, washed his dishes, and built his buildings. He met workers, single mothers, and children like Leo who had no chance at life unless someone noticed them. The man who once lived for profit now lived for purpose. 6 months later, Ethan opened a new foundation, the Leo Hope Trust, dedicated to supporting single parents and abandoned children. When the press asked what inspired him, Ethan simply said, "A maid once saved my soul." At the launch ceremony, Maria stood quietly at the back, tears streaming down her face as Leo held her hand. She didn't want the spotlight, she was content to see the man who had once ignored her now fighting for others like her. As Ethan looked across the crowd, his eyes met hers. For a brief moment, they both remembered that cold night by the dump site and how one act of compassion changed two lives forever.